hours, zero heartburn. For the most comfortable, luxurious, eco-friendly.
Hi guys, welcome back to XCOM Enemy Within.
On the market today.
We're in the middle of them. Well, kind of at the end of it.
Luxury mattresses made.
Sort of.
Introducing Love Advantage. It's everything you need for weight loss and wellness all in one place. Join today and get a 30-day free trial by testing Taste to 231231. And unlimited access to high-protein meals, a dedicated support team, and personalized meal plans that work with any weight loss approach. No minimum purchase and no cancellation fees. Plus, get convenient delivery on your schedule free. Join today and get a 30-day free trial by texting Taste to 231231.
It appears that despite my sinister efforts, employees are still managing their own HR and people. Why would you think mere humans deserve to do their own payroll? Because their livelihoods depend on it? Because they have bills to pay? Hear me now, Maycom! Return the world of HR and payroll to its rightful place of chaos. Face a tsunami of unnecessary, the likes of which you have never seen.
This isn't just your normal bike. It folds, it unfolds, and it just goes. Need to climb that hill? No problem. And if you're looking for speed, you've come to the right place. 28 miles per hour, up to 65 miles of range. And equipped with hydraulic brakes, this is the Electric XP 3.0. Fully foldable, fully assembled, ships free, simple as that. Go to electricebikes.com and come ride with us.
We got another big work trip coming up in November. Who's your money on? Gosh, I'm going, I'm gonna go run, man.
What are the odds? Tomorrow on Jesse Waters' podcast.
Are you still interested in the solar-powered generator? Space that.
Last 2 years that I've been on my own, it's been really challenging. But you can see that I've put in things like food to get our cost of food down, help with groceries and other necessities that it gets always done with a smile. Thanks to United Way, seniors like myself live in great sympathy.
Important that we're local.
When you work to live in the same place, that very much means a local feel.
We're building meaningful connections with people right here in our community.
It's kind of a joke, but every time I walk in and say it's Corey, he's like, Coach, go Corey, and they just let me through.
I really feel good about, helping other people. That's how I was brought up.
Decades after it stopped flying, commercial supersonic flight might soon be making a comeback. Grady Trimble from Fox Business got an inside look at what the new Concorde could be.
Commercial supersonic travel might be here sooner than you think. This plane behind me is basically a 1/3 scale prototype of what will eventually become Boom Supersonic's passenger plane carrying about 8 people. They call it Overture. And take a look at this. Boom says flying about twice as fast as commercial planes do today, and of course, faster than the speed of sound, its planes will be able to drastically cut travel time on transcontinental flights. Here's what those Overture planes will look like. The company already has more than 130 orders and pre-orders from United, American, and Japan Airlines. When you think about supersonic travel, you probably think of the Concorde, which was really expensive, unattainable for a lot of people, and ultimately was taken out of service a few years after a deadly crash. Boom's CEO says his company's planes will be different. Compared to Concorde with half a century old technology, today we've got lighter materials, better aerodynamics, more efficient engines, and we put all that together. Our first airplane will be able to make supersonic flight available in business class kinds of fares then we'll be able to do premium economy, and then I think there's a future not too far away where supersonic can actually compete with economy class pairs. And the research, development, and testing is already underway. This video shows the plane you just saw on its first test flight last month, the very first time that aircraft ever left the ground. We talked to the 2 test pilots who will take it on more flights below the speed of sound, at first subsonic, looking to eventually fly supersonic, possibly as early as this year. Each time we go a little higher, a little faster. We're up in altitude and up in speed, sometimes at the same time, sometimes separating those 2 things.
Second flight will have a lot of firsts as well. That'll be the first time we retract the landing gear, so that's the big focus of the second flight.
Boom is about to open a new factory in North Carolina. They hope to have passengers flying on these planes commercially by 2029. There are other companies working on similar projects, but Boom CEO tells me they've got about a 10-year head start on the competition. In Mojave, California, Brady Trimble, Fox Business.
Can't wait. Some headlines for you now from around the globe. In France, Chinese President Xi Jinping kicking off a 3-country trip aiming to rebuild relations with top European powers. In Southeastern Asia, a devastating weeks-long heat wave is posing a severe health risk for millions. The Philippines, India, Bangladesh, and Cambodia among the countries affected.
Per favore, continuiamo a pregare per la martoriata Ucraina.
At the Vatican, Pope Francis renewing his calls for peace in the Gaza Strip and in Ukraine, saying, quote, "No to war, yes to dialogue." In Panama, voters heading to the polls to cast ballots for a new president. Former President Ricardo
I have
Martinelli
fucking
was
support
replaced by
on our
another
team.
candidate late in the campaign cycle over a conviction for money laundering. This is Peru, where excited anime fans gathered in the capital of Lima for the country's Comic-Con 24 convention on Friday, wearing their very best superhero costumes. And in Brazil, organizers say more than 1.6 million people gathered on Copacabana Beach for a free Madonna concert last night. Gotta be one big beach. And let's look at some stories from around the globe. Russian bombardments of Ukrainian cities are not letting up, even as both countries celebrate a major Christian holiday. President Zelensky telling his Ukrainian citizens to stay strong as he attended church for Orthodox Easter, a holiday shared by both Ukrainians and Russians. Ryan Chilcote has more.
Sean, the war in Ukraine continues and may
No more.
be intensifying. Russian forces today claiming
Okay.
they have seized the town of Chiretina, if confirmed, a strategic victory for the Russians in claiming territory in the east of Ukraine. Check out this footage from the Associated Press. It was shot on Friday above that town, and as you can see, every single building in this drone footage has been damaged. And as you may have noticed, the town appears to be completely devoid of any people. Just a little glimpse of the front that doesn't get captured on camera very often. That, however, didn't stop Ukrainians, the vast majority of whom are Orthodox Christians, from celebrating Easter today. Easter falls on a different day in Orthodoxy than Western Christianity, and today is a huge holiday for the Orthodox, even more important than Christmas. On Ukraine's third Easter since the war began, President Zelensky declared God is on Ukraine's side. In D.C., President Joe Biden issued a statement congratulating Orthodox Christians today on the holiday, saying, quote, "In this sacred season, we hold people who are suffering from war and persecution especially close to our hearts. We will continue to pray and work for peace and justice for all people." Now, the vast majority of Russians are also Orthodox Christians. President Putin attending an Orthodox Easter Mass led by the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, who has been a fierce supporter of the president and the war. Needless to say, John, that's a big point of contention in Ukraine. It has been the war has been very divisive amongst Russian and Ukrainian Orthodox. And today, on this most holy day for all Orthodox Christians, there was no lull in the fighting. John?
Ryan Chilcote. Ryan, thank you. Still to come on the Fox Report. Why does this wailing walrus blubber like that? There's a good reason. The tails in our animal almanac.
Okay.
Texas. It is a land of mystery and legend. Teeming with life. Where nature has selected the most adaptable. Those willing to stake their claim. This is a story for all who love Texas. Oh, what a good time we will have. You can make it happen. Try dietary supplements from Voltaren for healthy joints.
In 3 seconds, this couple will share a perfect moment.
Oh, wow. We gotta sell our houses.
Well, almost perfect. Don't worry, just sell directly to Open Door. We'll close in a matter of days. When life stores open, we'll handle the house.
Life insurance is too important to put off another day. That's why Select Quote makes getting coverage you need easy. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit selectquote.com now.
Hi, I'm Tony Hawk, and like many of you, I take a statin to reduce cholesterol. But statins can also deplete CoQ10 levels. That's why my doctor recommended Qunol CoQ10. Qunol has the #1 cardiologist recommended form of CoQ10. Qunol, the brand I trust.
After last month's massive solar
Oh, great.
25 hours in a day, businesses are wondering what should we do with it.
Bacon and eggs, 25/7.
Darn right.
So much for the psych department.
With the extra hour, I'm thinking my power now. Let's put it to a book.
That's gonna be havoc on overtime.
Go through
Anything
town.
can change the world of work. From HR to payroll,
Go ahead.
ADP designs forward-thinking solutions to take on the next anything.
Hi, I'm Mike Huckabee, former governor of Arkansas, and I'm here today to tell you about a hidden health crisis
Time to run.
currently affecting nearly every American: sleep deprivation. And that's why you need to know about Relaxium Sleep. You see, getting a good night's sleep helps support a healthy immune system, helps maintain a healthy blood pressure, healthy cardiovascular system.
Relaxium Sleep is studied, tested, and designed by a neurologist to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed.
Relaxium Sleep worked from the very first night I took it. I had more focus and mental clarity than I've had in years.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people who've experienced the relief and health benefits from getting a great night's sleep and get Relaxium Sleep.
After being a Relaxium customer for at least 3 years now, because I'm getting a better night's sleep, it's making everything else about my life more enjoyable.
It'll regulate your natural sleep cycle, relax your body, and calm the mind for better sleep through the whole night. Call today and get your very own risk-free bottle of Relaxium Sleep. Relaxium Sleep doesn't have any harmful chemicals like many prescription sleeping pills. With Relaxium Sleep, you can expect to start sleeping better the very first night. The very first night.
I wake up feeling alert and like I've had the best night's sleep.
If you're like I was, and you've got trouble sleeping at night, take control of your health. Stop struggling with restless nights. Sleep like you were meant to with Relaxium.
Mike Huckabee is so confident that Relaxium will work for you, he's asked us to give away 1,000 bottles.
If you're not getting calm enough to go to sleep, take Relaxium Sleep. I promise you it will work.
Get your risk-free bottle of Relaxium Sleep now. It's guaranteed to work or your money back. Visit tryrelaxium.com or call 800-806-4851. That's tryrelaxium.com or call 800-806-4851.
You better start being real careful. This is no ordinary kind of mush that kills the children higher. Open and safe. The message of the word is to have a clear conscience.
Pancho. We're Hitchcock.
Let's fiesta!
Yeah, man. Millions of Americans celebrating Cinco de Mayo today, gathering with music, happy hours filled with margaritas and deals on tacos. Exactly what are they celebrating, though? South of the border, May 5th marks the anniversary of Mexican troops' 1862 victory over invading French forces at the Battle of Puebla. But the holiday is barely recognized south of the border. Here, it has evolved into a celebration of Mexican-American culture. Well, Balzac, the male walrus at a zoo in Tacoma, Washington, is searching for a mate, and he's making sure it is no secret. Yeah, his noisy mating calls are careening all over the zoo, sounding like whistles as he hopes to lure in a female. The zoo staff says Balzac is known to be patient and reserved, so we hope he will take his time finding just the right partner. Apparently, females find that irresistible. Finally tonight, we told you last week about a hippo in Japan, thought to be a male for 7 years, turned out to be female. Well, the animal gender gate plot thickens. Now the Cincinnati Zoo reveals that a 10-month-old sloth, Juno, thought to be female, turns out to be a male. Multiple ultrasounds confirm it. The zoo adds that sloths appear androgynous from the outside, making it extremely difficult to determine their sex. And that's how Fox reports this Sunday. Cinco de Mayo, I'm John Scott. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, I'm Tommy Laird, along with Guy Benson, Tammy Bruce, and Charlie Hurd, and welcome to the big weekend show. The big story tonight, start your engines for Trump's sweepstakes.
Oh, you're retouched?
Yes, and heroes, welcome for the former president, the Formula One Miami Grand Prix. Just a few hours ago, Trump waved to the crowd and stopped by the McLaren garage one day after Trump signs up the competition for his running mate in November. Now, some of the rumored VP contenders were all on one stage at the RNC spring retreat in Palm Beach, where the Trump campaign and RNC announced a massive $76 million fundraising haul for the last month. Fox News correspondent Mal Rivera breaks down the potential running mates. The RNC Spring Donor Retreat this weekend allowed former President Trump to screen some of his potential running mates, but some of the rumored top candidates aren't sharing too many details. Listen here.
So they're going to speculate on the VP thing. Here's the good news, and I saw it this weekend. The amount of talent that we have in the Republican Party is extraordinary. He's going to have an extraordinary group of talented people that can serve this country in multiple roles.
There's a lot of names that are in the mix. I'm honored to have my names as one of them in the mix right now, but it is a true testament to the strength of the Republican Party.
Over 400 people coming to support the president and the Republican National Committee. It demonstrates the strength and the resolve. You couple that with poll numbers, and then, of course, the reality that Joe Biden, the master of disaster himself, is the very worst president our country has seen. That is why people are rallying around President Trump. He's going to be the 47th president of the United States.
Meantime, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem's prospects may be in trouble. She's doing damage control again this morning for shooting and killing her 14-month-old dog 20 years ago. The story is laid out in her upcoming book. After killing her dog, she says she also killed their goat.
I want the truth to be out there and to understand that these animals were attacking my children, that we live on a farm and a ranch, and that tough decisions are made many times.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott says he too hasn't spoken to Trump about the VP pick.
I certainly expect to have a decision from President Trump in the next 60 days or so, but he did not bring it up, but I certainly did bring it up.
Remember, Trump didn't reveal then Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate until mid-July 2016. In Washington, Mal Rivera, Fox News.
Well, the table is so fired up to talk about this one. One thing we are all in agreement of, I believe, is that nobody wants
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be a VP pick. I think that there is indeed no going back. We could spend the entire hour talking about that, as we have, backstage. But I want to talk about the others that are on this list, Tammy. Let's put the full screen there. Of course, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio, Senator Tim Scott of South
Not
Carolina,
bad, one loss.
Lee Stonick of New York,
Mission like that's crazy.
North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and still on that list,
Everybody levels good.
Kristi Noem. Tammy, which one of those excites you the most and why?
Well, there just needs to be a big red X on the dog killer. There just needs to be. I mean, what's great about campaigns is that you learn about people and that it's a constant scrutiny. They say things that are important, whether they're good or bad. You see how people handle stress, what their character is or lack thereof. So I think that this, again, is what's very important in this regard. But at the same time, we look at those individuals. What we've heard, of course, is that the talent bench is deep. That is true. The benefit for President Trump this time around is he knows what he's getting into. Before, he did not. Neither did the rest of us. He presumed, like when you're running a business, that everybody's on the same page and everyone wants success. Not in Washington. So now he knows. And I think we're looking at the dynamic where he expected things from Pence that he did not get. He needs a teammate. This is not a frivolous decision. I'm sure he knows that. And I think he also knows the seriousness of what it means. He is thinking ahead usually for the country. I think I would accept, because I've learned to not second guess President Trump, whoever he wants, because he understands what's at stake. All of these individuals, with, again, -1, would be fabulous. Also, Sarah Sanders comes to mind. I mentioned Mike Pompeo on Fox and Friends this morning. Some people got upset. But the reality is, all hands on deck for this, because we've got a big job, and he's got one term to do it, which means 2.5 or 3 years again, because he'll fight him. But the person who's in that spot has got to be able to be a ringer for 28 and 32.
I think that's important. I want to go to you because there's a lot of discussion when we talk about VP about checking a box. The left needs to check a box. They are married to that box of the things they need to check on it, the DEI list, if you will. On the Republican side, not so much, but is there still some sense of having to pick somebody that's got something, some kind of an X factor beyond just being qualified? And if so, which one of those potentials do you see as being the best fit?
Well, I think the conventional wisdom has been for a while that it's probably going to be a woman or maybe a person of color. I think that game was played by the current president with his running mate, and that has gone very poorly, I would argue, for the country and for him. She has not been an asset, I think, to put it kindly, to that administration. I'm not sure how much stake to put in any of these lists, right? Like, oh, the short list is getting shorter. Here's the 4 names. Here's the 5 names. Here's someone who's rising. I think a lot of this might be a head fake. There's a very good chance that Trump has known all along who it's going to be, or maybe he is really making this decision on the fly. He's got still several months to make it. I'm not sure why people would be upset, Tammy, with Mike Pompeo and his name being in there. I think it makes actually a lot of sense. Yes, he's not checking either of the identity boxes that you're talking about, but look at his resume.
Well, that's the problem for some, is the deep history within the government, which implies that he was able to survive that environment and wars. But I like him. I think he would fit somewhere very nicely.
Well, he was Trump's Secretary of State. They had a very successful foreign policy. He was CIA director. He was in Congress. He served in the military. Yeah. And I think more importantly than necessarily the resume is the steadiness. I think whoever Trump picks, whether it's, I'm just throwing Pompeo out there because you mentioned him, sure. I think the most important factor for a lot of voters is reassurance. A lot of people are not reassured by Donald Trump. There's people who love him. They're going to vote for him no matter what. There's a universe of people that Trump needs to vote for him that need some extra reassurance, someone who is steady as she goes, someone who is low drama. And I think that type of person is important.
Which, of course, was the impetus for why he was the genius behind picking Mike Pence 8 years ago now? Is it?
Right.
8 years ago. And, you know, but the beauty of the Trump agenda, the America First Trump agenda, is that the identity stuff kind of goes out the window when everybody is sort of lined up behind it's a pretty simple, clear vision. And I think that if you took out some of the enormously unfair media depictions of Donald
There's some
Trump,
definitely savings.
The bombast that I guess turns some Republicans off. you take all that, these are 70, 80% issues for Americans. Like the idea of having a border or having American energy independence. And when you have everybody going in the same direction, like you're talking about, Tammy, with that agenda, I mean, obviously, I do think that it helps to pick somebody. I mean, I think like a Doug Burgum would be a brilliant choice. Somebody who is a sort of a calming influence.
All right, guys. I'll catch you next one. All right. Peace.
Trump is such a star.